like of understanding little better what we had done last Thursday. Application of Ampere's law and better understanding of solenoid and toroid and sheets. Let's get started. Just to get a better understanding of Ampere's laws, I will take up few simple examples. And in this case, what is shown here is a cylindrical conductor of radius r is carrying current I uniformly distributed over its cross section. So this is something, it has small radius. So, and it's a long, but we have not mentioned long. So it is placed along positive z axis. Which direction the current is flowing? So if I draw xy plane in the plane of the figure, z axis is perpendicular. If I follow right hand thumb rule, z axis has to be towards us. So this is how it is placed. This is current flowing across this cross section uniformly. It's a long cylindrical conductor. So you can think of the wire of a not negligible radius. This is the case. Now, if we consider a concentric circular loop of radius r, which is greater than radius of the conductor, what will be the value of B dot dl along the loop in clockwise direction? How would you find out magnitude of? So this is B dot dl. I think this is the reason I have taken up this one, to understand line integral better. What will be actually B dot dl along the loop in clockwise direction? So when we think of it, there are two ways of approaching this question. What are ways of approaching this question? One way of approaching, if I know the value of B, I can evaluate B dot dl along the different small elements. I can divide this entire thing into small elements and actually evaluate B dot dl. Second way is, I will not evaluate B dot dl, I'll apply Ampere's law. In that case, I will not evaluate B dot dl, I will look at what is mu naught into current enclosed. So both ways you can. In some cases, it is possible to evaluate this term. Some cases, it is not possible. In this case, because of cylindrical symmetry, it is possible to evaluate if we start with the assumption that we already know value of B. Value of B is known. In this particular case, value of B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. So if it is clockwise sense, can we evaluate? So how would our evaluation be? We understand here, if it is clockwise sense, if I put my thumb directed towards me, my fingers will be curling in the anti-clockwise direction. So field everywhere will be tangential or something like this. So everywhere, if I take a small element, I can evaluate B dot dl will be equal to B into perimeter. B into 2 pi will be equal to B into B dot dl in the clockwise sense. So if, okay. If I don't use this one, if I use Kirchhoff loop, if I use Ampere's law, straight away, without evaluating this term, I could have mentioned that line integral along the closed loop will be equal to mu naught times the current enclosed by the loop here. What is it if we take anti-clockwise direction? Will the answer be same if we take anti-clockwise direction? What would change if we take anti-clockwise direction? Think of it, if I don't go up what is clockwise, but then I'm progressing in this direction. So dl is taken in this direction. What will happen in that case? If we evaluate this term, not in the clockwise sense, if we evaluate the term in anti-clockwise sense. Sorry, I have written other way around. In the clockwise direction. Sir. Okay, so I have written this one is anti-clockwise direction, this is clockwise. Okay, what will be its value in clockwise direction if you go in the clockwise direction? Of that. So basically, first moment what you notice here, see that when we evaluate this term, see let's look at very closely. When we look at the cos theta term becomes equal to everywhere cos theta becomes equal to minus 1. Angle is 180. But suppose I apply Ampere's loop. In case of Ampere's law, how would I evaluate if I'm going in this particular direction, if I'm going in the clockwise direction? So which direction will be positive? Then in that case, this direction becomes positive. Hence the current value becomes negative. So this term also will become negative. So both left, this part also becomes negative, this part also negative. But this clockwise, anti-clockwise, does it make some sense? Are we able to understand what does this imply? So if you have to think of something which you can relate to better, line integral, we can also think in terms of work done. Just imagine, suppose something, what will be work done? Suppose, just let's go to first year topic, work done, because work done is easier to relate. Suppose there's a particle here. Now we just for a moment we forget to Ampere's law, if there's a particle here, and this particle is connected by a thin rod, it can rotate about this point. What will happen if I apply force on this particle, and force is always tangential? Work will be done and the particle will gain kinetic energy. And that makes sense. Basically, there's something. So, see, think of in terms of line integral. I'm taking the example of work done because work done is easy to intuitively understand. So, let's understand line integral. What will be work done if a tangential force F acts on the particle as it completes one full circle of radius r? So, there's a particle of mass m. We, in place of F, B, we are taking force F. If you apply, and force is always tangential, so it means direction of force keeps changing. Force is always tangential means cos theta is always equal to 1. So what will work done in that case? Work done will be equal to F into 2 pi.
F into 2 pi, yes.
And what will be the, so if we start from rest, by the time the particle comes back here, what will is kinetic energy? The kinetic energy will be equal to work done. So 1 by 2 mv square, it will have kinetic energy to mv, 1 by 2 mv square. If we apply a constant force F and it's going in the clockwise direction, it will be F into 2 pi. And this also, this is something I think this, when we calculate work done along a path is nothing but line integral of force along that path. So this also is similar. So I hope you have one more way to understand what does line integral imply. And a similar way, what if particle moves in the opposite direction? What if the particle moves in the opposite direction? Let's try and understand in the negative sense also. So what if the particle m is there, it is already having a velocity v naught, and force is applied in this fashion. So which way the particle completes its full circular motion? Particle completes a full circular motion in anti-clockwise direction, but force is acting in the negative direction. So here something similar to what we are talking about. What will happen in that case if force is acting opposite to direction of motion? So when it completes one full circular motion, if force is always acting tangential, magnitude is constant, then work done will get negative. And in this case, if force is, in this particular case, it is acting in the opposite direction, line integral of force along the circular path will be equal to work done, which will be equal to minus F into 2 pi r. In that case, work done will be negative and the object will lose kinetic energy. So this is something line integral. So what we understand here, so this is something, so we can go both ways, whether it's the direction also makes sense, which direction we traverse and what the line integral is. We can get a better feel of line integral if we relate it to work done by a force. So work done by a force along a path is equal to what? Work done by a force along a path is line integral of force along that path. So this also something similar. So I hope, and whenever you use this term, this indicates line integral along a closed path. If I don't use this, it can be also along an open path. But if we take an open path, I cannot apply Ampere's law. If it is a closed loop, I can apply Ampere's law. Rest all I can evaluate in a similar fashion. Let's take a similar, extend the same question. And again, it's a cylindrical conductor. I think one thing what I might mention, perhaps you can think of it as a long cylinder, just for symmetry. Carrying current I, uniform distributed cross section. It is placed along positive z-axis. Same thing. Rest of the thing remains same. Now, what is the line integral B dot dl? I hope you understand what does this expression mean. What is the difference we notice? There is no circle here. It is not along a closed path. It is from point P to Q along a particular path. So not only initial and final point is defined, even path also is defined. So can we calculate line integral, or can we integrate line integral of field along circular path from P to Q? That's what this term indicates. Can we evaluate this term? All of you think in your mind whether you can evaluate this term. So Tejas, can you evaluate this term here?
Yes, sir.
Tell me how we will evaluate and what this term will be.
First, sir, we can find the field at that point, and it will be tangential at P and Q, right, sir?
Okay. Are we concerned about field only in P and Q, or are we concerned all along the path?
All along the path. So
we have to think of all along the path. So basically, in this case, even when I need to calculate work done also, if I have to evaluate this term, I will conceptually, I will divide this whole length into small pieces. And everywhere I notice, everywhere the field is, magnitude of field is constant because of spherical symmetry, so because of cylindrical symmetry. Everywhere, if magnitude is B here, everywhere it is B, and everywhere I am going along this direction, and angle cos theta is equal to 1. So I can easily evaluate. And what would this come to? And you understand clear difference. So it is not necessarily along the closed path. It can also be evaluated along an open loop. And what would this come to? It will be equal to, since everywhere along, it will be B into 1/4 of a perimeter. Okay. Can I also evaluate this term using Ampere's law? Can you think of evaluating this term using Ampere's law? Let me ask someone else. Shweta, can you evaluate this term using Ampere's law? What is necessary for application of Ampere's law? See, if I take this path P to Q along this along the circular path, it's not forming a closed loop. So if I have to apply Ampere's law, I need to form a closed loop. So what I need to do, this is open path. How do I make a closed loop? Kathy, can you, Kathy?
Yes, sir.
Can you evaluate this term by applying Ampere's law? Can you think of some method? I can apply Ampere's law and evaluate this term. You understand what is this term here, Kathy? Are you getting some intuitive understanding what this term implies?
Yes, sir.
But you're not able to think how to
Apply.
use Ampere's law to calculate this term. Okay, let me ask some other people. Ashray, can you evaluate this term using Ampere's law?
Yes, sir.
Tell me how.
Sir, we need to, for Ampere's law, it's a necessity that we need a closed loop, sir.
You need to form a closed loop. No, so this is the path right now, it is not forming a closed loop. So how do I make a closed loop then?
With the same radius, I mean with radius r, we can draw a circle.
Okay.
Of which the arc will be a part of the circle.
Okay.
Joining P and Q.
Okay. So basically, if I understood, if I complete like this, if I join like this, it becomes a
Current is enclosed.
It becomes a closed loop. So if I take this path, and this path, but problem is I want to evaluate B dot dl only along this path. But if I apply Ampere's law here, the term becomes something like this. It becomes something like P to Q along the circular path B dot dl. Then there are some more terms here. The Q to O also and O to B also. Is it not O to P also? So it becomes something like this. Q to O, and then O to P. But so what happens? I want to find this, I get additional 2 terms. So again, there's a problem. So what do you do with these 2 terms?
They're zero, right? So because 90 degrees angle.
Because there is whenever we have a cylindrical symmetry, field will form circular loops. So whenever I take a path which is radial in nature, B dot dl term, everywhere B is perpendicular to dl, cos theta is equal to 0. This term also will be 0 for which path? For radial path. These 2 are radial path. This term will evaluate to 0. Kathy, have you understood this point?
Yes, sir.
Why would this evaluate to 0? Are you clear about this point? Why it is evaluating to 0?
Yes, sir.
When a field is forming, so if the current is coming, everywhere field is like this. This is field will form anti-clockwise loops. But now this term has to be equal to mu naught times current enclosed. Gayatri?
Yes, sir.
For this, now what would be the current enclosed if I take this loop, which is a quarter of a circle? How much is the current enclosed in this particular case?
Mu naught I by 8R.
Mu naught I by
8R, so quarter circle, sir.
quarter circle. So basically, of the total current, only this much part current carried by this part of the cross section of cylinder is enclosed. How much is that one? I by 4. So I hope you understand. We can apply, we can evaluate this term using Ampere's law. So what we have done, whenever we have to evaluate B dot dl along a particular open part of the loop, sometimes is possible to evaluate this term by forming a closed loop. Okay. We have done along which path we have taken this time. I have evaluated along the circular path. I have changed this question slightly. Is this question and this question same, or are they different? Karthikeya, are these two questions same or different? And if they are different, what is the difference between the two? Karthikeya? Now, earlier we had done this part. It was along the circular path from P to Q. This is along the straight line. So now this is the path. What is the, if I have to mark the path? The path is something like this. Along this path, what will be value of B dot dl? See, earlier in this previous case, when it was along the circle, it was possible for me to evaluate B dot dl. Because everywhere now, I don't know, the B value is different at different points. It's not possible to evaluate directly this term B dot dl. In this case, it was possible to evaluate B dot dl. In this case, it is not possible.
Yes, sir.
Jaideep, can you tell me, have you understood difference between the two?
Yes, sir.
Can we, here in this case, it was possible to evaluate this also. It was also possible to apply Ampere's law. In this particular case, it is not possible to evaluate this term. If at all we have to solve this part, we have to apply Ampere's law. Can you think, do you think, Jaideep, can you apply Ampere's law and evaluate this term? It is possible to apply Ampere's law and evaluate this term. Can you evaluate this term? Jaideep, do you think you can evaluate?
Sir, I don't think Ampere law will be applicable, sir.
No, right. For this particular path, it is not applicable.
Yes.
See, it was not applicable even in this quarter of the loop also. How do we make it applicable?
Forming a closed loop, sir.
We formed a closed loop. So in this case also, can we form a closed loop and evaluate this term? Is it possible to form a loop which will help evaluation of this term?
Yes.
Square.
Which loop we can form?
Square, sir.
Think again.
So we can again join the
Right.
No, there are two ways. Yeah, yes, what you are saying is right.
join the
What
two
we are
points to
doing
the
is,
center.
I can make like this. What is the loop I make?
Yes, sir.
I make like this. If I make this loop, what I understand from here, this is P, Q, and R and S. In this particular case, this forms a closed loop. So whatever is line integral along this whole closed loop, it is expected to be equal along the four parts. So what is the line integral from P to Q along the straight path? Line integral from the PQ along the straight path will be equal to P to R. It will be equal to R to S. It will be equal to S to P. So is that one way of evaluating? I have created a symmetry. I have created a loop. In this case, what I can write this term. Let's see, does it make sense? P to Q equal to 1/4 of B dot dl along this whole PQRS.
Yes, sir.
And what is that equal to? That is equal to mu naught by I. So it becomes mu naught I by 4. So whatever, that's one way. Can someone think of, there are at least 3-4 ways. Can someone think of some other way?
So we can join P and
So
Q
that's
to
one
the
way.
center.
We can join also. So one way is I can create something like this. What is the second way of solving? Second way, if I have to evaluate along the straight path also, second way I can evaluate is I form a loop like
Right
this.
angle triangle.
Right. So what I've done, every time I create radial lines, see, you know, these are two radial lines. What is the advantage of radial line? The line integral along these two lines will always evaluate to 0. So I can do this also. So what I find, that's the second method. The second method, once I form this loop, these two will evaluate to 0. Again, I get the same answer. Can someone think of another method? Anything else?
So we can join the arc of the circle along P and Q, right?
Yes. Another loop what I can form is something like this. I have to evaluate along this path. If I already know what is B dot dl along this path, I can form a loop like this. So what will happen? Let's say, let me form loop like this. Which direction I'm taking positive? I'm taking clockwise as positive. So in this case, what is the line integral along this closed loop here?
The total is 0. So
Zero.
Yeah, there's no charge. I mean, current.
No, so there's no current. So I can write something like this. What is the way I can write? From P to Q, B dot dl plus Q to R, which direction? Along the arc, B dot dl is equal to 0. So what is P to Q by dl? So this will be equal to, so P to Q, B dot dl will be equal to Q, sorry, Q to P again. So I can, if it is minus sign, I can inverse it. This becomes again P to Q, B dot dl along the arc. So both are same. That's the third way. So I hope all of you, Shreya,
Yes, sir.
all three understood?
Yes, sir.
Desha,
Yes, sir.
all clear?
Yes, sir.
All methods? Okay. So this is something I think we'll try to understand better, but what are the ways we can do? So that's another we can do that. Okay. So let me go something little more on the topic. Okay, let me come to, let me extend the question even further. Now, again, this is something everywhere, what are we considering? Every case is the cylindrical symmetry exists. What is the significance of this cylindrical conductor? It ensures that all field lines will be concentric circles. That's why the cylindrical kind of symmetry is important. Then only we'll have field lines which are circular in shape and concentric with the center of this cylinder. Now, in this case, this is placed like this. Rest of the things are same. What I want to evaluate is different. And the line integral from point P to Q along the straight line. Can we evaluate this term here? All of you think in your mind, how are you going to evaluate this term? And those coordinates of those points are given. So this point is P is R0 at a distance R, and this is RR. So it is a line parallel to y-axis. Can we evaluate this term?
Yes, sir.
So all of you think in your mind, what are various ways you can think of evaluating this term? Bhageshri? Can you tell me, do you know how to solve? Can you think of a method how to evaluate this term, line integral of field along from P to Q along a straight path?
I was thinking of a circle that passes through Q.
Okay, that's one way. Does it help?
Yeah.
What is the closed loop? See, this particle, when I take a loop, this path should be part of the loop. This should be along that path. So if I take a circle, what happens? This is like a hanging outside. That's one way. But think of it. Does it help? Can you think of some other way? Because taking a circle, see if I draw a circle also, and after I draw the circle, I find it doesn't lead me anywhere. It doesn't help me solve the problem. What else can be done here? Shreya, can you
Sir, we
think
can
of
form a
something?
circular arc.
Huh? We can form
A circular arc, sir,
Bhageshri.
joining Q.
Okay, so what you are saying, if I understood right, what you are saying here, from
Subtends
Q,
45
just
degrees
to
at the
extend
center.
Yeah, so we know
logic
by
is by I can form a circular arc.
or we can complete a square, sir.
No, see, I'm just completing their point, and then I have to complete like this. Right? Is that what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that case, what happens? In that case, if I know what is the value of B at this point, everywhere on this, since I have taken circular arc, everywhere field is equal to B. So what is the line integral from, let me call this P, Q, and this point is R. So in this case, how would I write this term? I can write, it forms a loop. Can I solve this one? Yes, I can write something like this. It is from P to Q, B dot dl plus B dot dl from Q to R. This is along the circular path plus B dot dl from R to P. And what will the right side be equal to in this case, Bhagishri?
0.
Huh?
The net charge enclosed is 0.
How much the charge net charge? This whole thing is equal to 0. Okay. Now out of this, this term will come to 0. Why is this 0?
Because
Why
cos
this term?
angle is 90 degrees.
Angle is 90 degree. Any line which is radial in direction, this is 0. So if I can evaluate along the curved path, I get an answer. So all I need, what is this term equal to? This term is nothing but B into length of the arc. Will it be positive or negative? This term here. Since B is in this direction
Q to P will be
and we are
negative.
traversing in this particular reverse direction, it will come negative. So if I write this term here, so this will be, so negative, if I bring it to the side, that's one way of solving. Can anyone think of some other way? Kevin, have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Kevin, have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood the sign also? See, when I'm coming in this direction, the DL is in this direction. DL is in clockwise direction. But which direction the field is? If thumb is
Opposite direction, sir.
opposite direction. That's why this term will come
Negative sign.
and that's whole out this term will come out to be positive. So I hope you have understood. And Anirudh,
Yes, sir.
have you understood? Not fully. Shavni,
Yes, sir.
have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes,
And,
sir.
okay, good. Can you, let me ask somebody else. Can you think of some other method also of finding this? This is one loop we can take. So can someone think of some other way of solving? Any other loop we can take? Any other shape? Ahlad, can you think of some other method of solving? Anybody else? So one loop was take a circular arc and forming a loop like this. So current close becomes 0. Anybody has any other method?
So we can complete a quarter circle with P as the center, right?
If we complete P as a center.
P as a center and OQ as an arc.
So if it's complete, this is something, okay. Does it help in solving? Think of it. So what has to happen if I complete, now there are 3 parts. So I can evaluate this part if I can calculate B dot dl along this path as well as this path. This is 0. But can I evaluate B dot dl along this circular arc here? Is it possible to evaluate this term here, Aviru?
What if OQ, like we join with a straight line instead of a circular arc?
Correct. So it is not circular arc. Because circular arc, what happens? I can land into trouble. I don't know what the values are and angles are different. So what we need to do here, second method of solving would be, what if I make a loop which is of this nature? I'm using 2 radial lines. So whenever any straight length is given, I can always make use of radial lines. If I make a loop like this, these 2 are going to evaluate to 0. So all I need to know, what is this area? What is this current enclosed here? Is it easy to evaluate this one? What is the angle it is making here?
45 degrees.
45 degrees. How much is current? I by H. So what is B dot dl equal to? B dot is equal to mu naught I by H. So is this also one method? Whenever whichever shape is given, any straight path is given, all I need to do is connect the straight element to the center. The moment I connect the straight element to the center, these 2 will have 0 value. All needed is this value. So I hope you have followed this particular point. Gayatri, have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Aditya? Pritam? Pritam?
Yes, sir.
Is it understood?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. Basically, every case we are using how to form a loop to facilitate evaluation of line integral. Basically, what we connect P and Q. I think among this, I think easiest method is to connect those 2 points to the center, because those are the radial lines. Those things, B dot dl along those radial lines become 0. So connect P and Q to the axis of the current element to form a loop. Line integral along 2 radial lines will be 0. Okay, this is what you can take. And then if I know this angle theta, I can calculate current enclosed. How much will be the current enclosed? Current enclosed will be equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi into theta. So any straight element, if I connect, so the line integral of any straight element will be equal to mu naught I by 2 pi. What is theta here? How do I define theta? Theta is the angle subtended by the line element on the axis of point O. So any method, any straight element I can solve. Nitya, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
No doubt?
No, sir.
No, good. Okay, so since Nitya, you understood, let me change this one. So not PQ. Suppose I have a path like this. I have from P to Q, I give some shape. I'm telling find line integral from P to Q along an arbitrary path. Can you find that also?
Be the same.
It will be the same. And so it doesn't matter. Any shape we take, all matters is you connect the beginning point and the end point to the center. And once you get the angle of theta, you can easily evaluate those terms. It would be the same. So I hope this is clear to everyone. And just to check, what happens if you form a hexagon? If I form a regular hexagon, is it difficult to evaluate what will the B dot dl along each side? If I form an hexagon here, will it be difficult to evaluate the value of B dot dl along each side of the hexagon? Length of side is L. And it will depend on the direction. So when I say P to Q, it will have different value. Q to P, it will have negative value of the same. Both the direction, see, like work done is not same in the same. So this is B remains same. If I reverse the path, whatever value get along one direction, if I reverse the direction, it will be same magnitude but opposite sign. Okay. So we can calculate along any random curved path, straight path. So this thing. So that's all application of B dot dl. Now we come to solenoid. So let's again understand the solenoid in more detail, little slowly. No need to hurry through. So last time perhaps I went too quick and some of you were not too comfortable. What is solenoid? Is tightly wound windings. So what is a tightly wound? What is the see this word typically what we use is tightly wound. If it is not tightly wound, it is something like this. I may have winding like this. But in that case, what will happen if I have winding which is not tightly wound is something windings are very close to each other. What is it? What difference does it make if it is not tightly wound? What is the difference between tightly wound windings and loosely wound windings? Is there a difference between the two? And if there is one, what is the difference between the two? Brinda, can you tell me the difference between the two? What difference it makes if it is tightly wound or not tightly wound? Brinda? Shweta? Okay, some of you, what happened again? Some of people are not able to respond. Shreya, can you tell me what's the difference between the two, tightly wound and not tightly wound?
When it's tightly bound, field is more uniform.
No, I don't want that answer. I want looking for some other answer. Okay. Ahlad, can you tell me what's the difference between tightly wound and loosely wound? Can you visualize tightly wound and loosely wound? Pritham, can you tell me the difference between tightly wound and loosely wound? Can you visualize what is tightly wound and what is loosely wound? I have written already. See, if it is tightly wound, it means the point where when I finish a circle, the point when I finish, it is almost close to the starting point. They are close to each other. If it is tightly wound, each winding will be close to a circle. If it is not tightly wound, it will be like a spiral. You can think of a spiral something like a spring. So if it is tightly wound, it means the end point of the loop also is close to the starting point. The distance between them is small. Each winding can be treated as a circle. And all will have a circle with an axis along the cylinder on which it is wound. So tightly wound, I can visualize them or I can treat them as a circle with axis along the axis of the cylinder. That's what tightly wound imply. And if we have to visualize this one, this is how it will look like. So we run this wire like this. How's the current flowing? This is from front side is going in, back side is coming back. And like this, we keep winding, and they're close to each other. So how many loops here? We have 3 loops. All 3 loops, though it is not forming a closed loop, it is wound like this. It is same current flowing through. But we can treat these 3 loops as 3 different circular loops. We can treat them as 3 circular loops, all carrying current I in the same sense. Okay. And if you continue winding more and more, it becomes a solenoid. So what is solenoid? If we have number of windings close to each other, wound on a cylindrical surface, and length is much larger compared to radius, it becomes a solenoid. This is how the solenoid look like in 3 dimensions. So what is the axis here? Axis is along the x direction, and y, z both are perpendicular to its axis. Okay. Suppose I have to calculate a field at some point P. Let's see how do we proceed. So right now, so field at point P on the axis of solenoid. So this is what I have to calculate. So what we'll do here, see, if I take each coil as a circle, sorry, each winding as a circle, the point P lies on its axis. So theoretically, if I calculate, if I can use the formula for field on the axis of the circular loop to calculate field at point P. Okay, so theoretically it's possible if it is lying on its axis. Let's do that one. How do we do it? And what will the direction if I take each particular loop? Each loop is creating field in the same direction. What is the direction of field? My fingers curling into the which direction will the thumb point here? For each coil, the direction of field on the axis is same. Which direction is it? Everywhere the direction is same. It is towards negative x direction. So just imagine, this is a cylinder. Your fingers are going from the front into the back side. Your thumb will point towards left. All are creating field in the same direction. Hence, I can directly add it up. There's no need for vector sum. It's a directly scalar sum. So field at any point axis can be calculated by adding field due to all circular loops. How do I add it up? If I take a cross section, this is in 3 dimensions. So which is the cross section? This is a cross section I am taking. If I take this is XY plane. So I cut this whole loop. This is XY plane. So it will, when I cut, it will look like this. So I'll see here wherever it is going in, top part is going in, bottom part, the loops are coming out, current is coming out. So this is a typical sectional view. I hope all of you understand sectional view. So if I have this something, I cut into 2 equal halves using a vertical plane, this is what it would look like. So this is a typical way how we represent solenoid. I hope you all understand this is what the sectional view is. Now I have to calculate field at this point P. So what we have done in this particular case, I have taken origin at the point at which the field need to be calculated. We can always choose an axis which suits my calculation. So I have taken XY axis and like this. This is the point which the origin is. How would I calculate now? Method of calculation is I need to use the if I take a small length of the solenoid. What is the length I have taken? This is a small length of solenoid I have taken. If I take a small length, it is like a circular loop. It's a circular loop. We know what is the formula for circular loop? Mu naught I by 2r. But if there are n number of loops, this becomes my formula for circular loop. So this is if the point is on the center. But if it is on axis, what is the formula for field on an axis of circular loop? What is the formula for field on the axis of circular loop? Mu naught by 4 pi, that term remains same. What is the other term we get here? 2 into m. What does m indicate?
Magnetic moment.
Magnetic moment, which is nothing but current into area.
Yes.
2 pi r square.
Current into area. And then we divide it by r square plus x square raised to power 3 by 2.
3 by 2.
And so this is something. So can we apply this formula here for this element here? What is happening in this case? X is changing everywhere. For different, if I take one element here, so if I divide the solenoid into several small lengths, for different pieces, X is changing. So what I need to do, I need to take a part of the solenoid which has very small value of X. So we take it, that's why we break into small pieces. I can calculate due to one such element and then add it up through process of integration. Can all of you try and write? Let's see. So if this distance I have taken, where is this part of the solenoid? It is at a position X. Its length is equal to dx. N is the number of turns per unit length which I discussed. And let's see the angle what it makes. I will taking the angle same way we had done in earlier also. So angle I am taking with respect to the perpendicular. This angle is theta. And so two elements are, this is making an angle d theta. What is this angle here? D theta. So can we write a expression of field at this origin due to this element? All of you can try and write. So this is a formula. All I need to do is substitute. So what are the values here? Radius of solenoid is r. Can we all write this expression here? So I hope the method is clear why we have taken this particular method. Can you write this expression? Some of you have already evaluated in the past, in the doubt session and all, but others also, can you all write this expression? The current part is this. Shreya, can you write this expression? Mu naught by 4 pi. How much is the current through this this part of the solenoid? Shreya, how much current I should write? Area is okay. Area I can write pi r square. What is the current passing through this length dx? Shreya, can you tell me what is the value of current I should take here?
The current only due to
See, okay, what I have not mentioned, current through each loop is I and n is number of turns. So what is the current which is should I take for this length dx? Rest of the terms are simple. Rest of the terms are okay. Only problem is with the current term. What should I take as current here? Bhageshri, can you tell me what is the current I should write here? How much is the current which is passing through, how much current is contained in this length here, length dx? How do I calculate the current? This part we have done, we have divided the solenoid into infinite small lengths along its axis, which will be like circular loop with field on its axis. So we have taken arbitrary length x at a position x. Length is dx, position x. Now I have to do something else. So what is the current I should write here? Bhagshi, are you clear? What is the current I should write? Not clear, is it not? So current will be equal to I times number of loops passing through length dx. Does it make sense? What is current be equal to? I into number of loops passing through length dx. Passing through length dx. Disha, can you write this term now? How many loops will pass through length dx?
N dx.
N dx. So that's I. So in place of I write I into N dx. That's the current into area. And again, what I'm going to do now, again, I'll convert x into theta. This is something exactly similar to what we have done here. What is x equal to? X is equal to nothing but this is r and this is x. This is r into x. So tan theta is equal to x by r. X is equal to r tan theta. Or since I have dx term here, I can substitute x and dx in terms of theta. So can we evaluate this term easily? This is a term we get here. So this r tan theta, dx is equal to r sec square theta d theta. We substitute all this term, this is what we get. Mu naught by 4 pi is same, 2. N is same, I is same. In place of dx, what is substituted? Secant square theta d theta. Area substituted pi square. In the denominator, what is this term evaluates to? This term is nothing but inclined distance. And r square plus x square. In place of x, is substitute r tan theta. It becomes 1 plus tan square theta, which is secant square theta, raised to power 3 by 2 theta, 3 by 2 secant cube theta. This expression I get, and you notice this one simplifies quite easily. It comes equal to mu naught ni by 2 cos theta d theta. That's a dB. Shravani, have you followed this?
Yes, sir.
Now, Shravani, if you followed, can you tell me how would I calculate resultant B and what would be my limits of integration? You understand why you can integrate, because due to all elements, fields are in the same direction. What should be my limits of integration? What should be my limits of integration? So this is dB, but I have to find resultant B. So I have defined this is in terms of what? This is measured in terms of angle theta. What are the limits I should substitute here? Tejas, can you tell me how do you find which limit should I substitute? What should the limits here?
Sir, should it be theta to 180 that plus, so that to the other side also?
See, actually understand what you are taking. We are taking this theta indicates angular position of several small solenoids. Several small pieces of solenoid I have taken. So whenever I take all such pieces, how many pieces are there? Infinite number of pieces. Okay. So what is the range of angle they are making? How do I find the range of angle? This is theta. Theta is for one particular element. But if I look at the range of element, I have to take from one extreme to the other extreme.
Yes.
That's how we take the ranges. So what I need to connect this left extreme and write this angle here. And I need to connect the right extreme. That's the angle range. So how do I find the range? So if I integrate, I need to integrate the angle made by the left extreme, and for other limit is angle made by the right extreme.
Yes.
And we had done something earlier. If both are in the opposite side, they will add up. If they are on the same side, they will subtract. So it becomes same expression what we had in case of, we have seen this expression before. Exactly same thing. Only thing this is mu naught Ni by 2. So I thought we can use similar sign convention. Have we had this convention somewhere else? Exactly same thing as a straight line charge. Same sin alpha, sin beta. So you understand what is alpha and beta. If it is infinite, what is the value of alpha and beta? You understand when would plus come? Plus would come when this point P is inside the solenoid. It will come minus when point P is plus, and minus when P is outside the solenoid. Otherwise, both angle will always be in the opposite direction. Alpha beta subtracted angle by the point on the perimeter at the ends of the solenoid at P. So positive when in the opposite in sign. So I hope all of you understood now. Is it understood better? So at all points on the axis solenoid, field can be calculated. At all points on the axis solenoid, now the field can be calculated. Jaideep, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Every part is clear. Have you understood this part also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, angle and all also clear?
Yes, sir.
So suppose I choose a point P here, just and here. What will be angle alpha and what will be angle beta here? If it is a long solenoid. Okay, so I hope all of you understand mu naught Ni by 2, sin alpha plus minus sin beta. When do we take plus sign? When angles are on the opposite side. So when you drop, if you take a perpendicular line, if two ends are on the opposite side, I'll add it up, they are on the same side, length becomes shorter. I'll take negative sign, similar to what you've done in case of line element. Let's take some example here. Magnetic field at any point on the axis of solenoid can be calculated as mu naught Ni by 2, sin alpha plus minus sin beta. I hope we understand when is plus and when is minus and how to calculate alpha and beta. Alpha and beta, we connect whichever point we have calculated the field at, we connect the endpoints of the solenoid on the parameter. Okay, so just to understand this approximation better, see, I have just taken the value so that we understand where the field is uniform. So at sin 82 is roughly equal to 0.99 and tan 82 is equal to 7. So what does it mean here? So if this alpha also is 82 and beta also is 82, how much field will be? Okay, sorry, before I start, what if it is a very long solenoid? What is the value of field if it is a long solenoid? And we are calculating field at somewhere near the central region. If it is long solenoid, what is alpha value? What is beta value? Shami, can you tell me if it is long solenoid, what is alpha and what is beta? 90. You know, so in that case, if it is a long solenoid, we have seen this formula, long solenoid, it comes equal to mu naught Ni by 2. Okay. Now let's case what happens if it is not long solenoid. Suppose what I find here, if this radius is r, this length is equal to 7r, This length also is equal to 7r. Okay. So if I calculate 7r, if I calculate the field, what does the field will come to? If I calculate the field for a point which is at a length of 7r from the end, from this end, 7r from this end, the field will come equal to 0.99 times mu naught Ni. This is the explanation for this. See that you understand this part here. So what I have taken, yes, Ashay.
Shouldn't it be mu naught Ni, sir?
Which term? Sorry, my bad. I have not written 2 here. This will become 1 plus 1. So this 2 into 2, it will get cancelled. It will become mu naught Ni. Okay, 1, 1, 1, both will add up. So let's try and understand this part. See, are we following this part here? See, suppose approximation. See, I am trying to calculate. See, up to what is the condition for field to be 99% of this value? What is the condition for field to be 99% of mu 9? For field to be 99% of this value also should be 0.99, and this value also should be 0.9. Then only the field will be 99% of the value, theoretical value for an infinite long solenoid. If it has to be 99, at what angle it becomes 90.99? It becomes at an angle of 82 degree, it becomes sine becomes equal to 0.99, and for 80 degree tan is equal to 7. So 10 is equal to 7. So when is 10 becomes 7, tan theta? So this tan theta has to become equal to 7. What is tan theta equal to? Tan theta, if that tan theta has to become 7, this length has to become 7r, and this is r. It will become tan theta will be 7 and sine theta will be 0.99, and field will be equivalent to 99% of mu naught I Ni value. So if we have a solenoid of length 14r, what will the field at the center? If I have a solenoid of length 14r, what will the field at the center on its axis?
0.99.
0.99. Have you understood this calculation here? Ashay, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Jaideep, have you understood this point?
Yes, sir.
No, so are you following why I have taken this 0.99? Why I picked up this value 82 angle?
Find out when it is 0.9 of the 99% of the
99%. No, so basically I am trying to understand what does long mean. Let's see, this is see what we do here, we take sine alpha is equal to 1, sine beta is equal to 1, I get mu naught Ni. I'm trying to get a feeling of how long actually the solenoid has to be so that the field becomes equal to at least 99% of theoretical value. So I calculated if it is 7, this side also length is 7r, and this length also 7r. If this is 7r, sine alpha becomes equal to 0.9, and this side also 7r, it becomes 0.9. What happens if more than 7r? It will be more than 0.9. Okay, so this is what I understand. I hope some of you are following this point. Okay. So what will happen? So this is something minimum if we have 14r length. Okay. And similar way, if I have to calculate for 95%, the length comes equal to 3r. 99 length for 10 per 9 for 95%, it has comes to 3r. So what does 3r? Okay, let's see what do we understand from this. So it gives us some sense of what does field at different points mean. So if I have a length which is equal to 14r, at the midpoint field be equal to how much? 0.99 mu naught Ni. Similar way I can calculate this actually at point something like 3r from here. At distance of 3r, I can calculate. This is 3r, and this side will be equal to 11r. This will come roughly 0.95 mu naught Ni. Similarly, this 3r also it comes equal to 0.95 mu naught Ni. So what I understand, if I take a solenoid, any point on the axis which is at a distance of 3r from the end, field will be equal to 95% of mu naught Ni. So right from here to here, what is the field? If I take a length from here to here, what will the field here? It will gradually rise from 0.95 mu naught Ni to 0.99 mu Ni, again drop to 0.95 mu naught Ni. Can I take this field along entire length to be almost constant? Vignesh, are you following what I'm doing?
Yes, sir.
No, not clearly. Huh?
Understood, sir.
No difficulty?
No, sir. No, sir.
Akash? Akash, have you followed?
Yes, sir.
Why I'm doing all this thing? Can you think of a reason why I'm telling all this? That this is something, man.
So we can understand like what difference it makes if it's
So when we say long, what does it mean? Where does field become uniform? What is the interior region? So this is something, if I put theoretical value, so if I have length at a distance of 3r from one end, field becomes 95% of this value. If
Okay,
my
almost.
tolerance limit is 4-5%, I can take this as right from here to here to constant. So what is interior region of a solenoid? In region which is at a distance of roughly 3r away, I can take it as almost, it is 95% plus. I can take that region field to be constant. So all along this axis of the solenoid, except for this 3r region on this side, 3r region on this side, field can be considered to be uniform. Is this point clear? I hope all of you followed this point. Because except for the end region, what is end region? End region, if my tolerance is 95%, end region can be again 3r. If I want to be very accurate, the length has to be equal to 7r from either end. So if it is a long solenoid, that's the region where field becomes constant. So field lines in the interior region of a solenoid near the axis can be considered parallel like this. So from where to where, if I leave aside, if my tolerance 5pi, if I leave aside a distance of 3r here, if I leave aside distance of 3r here, so near the, are we clear about why the field lines will be parallel from here to here? Since the variation of field is so small from here to here, and field is everywhere parallel to principal axis, I can take the field lines to be parallel to axis of the solenoid in the interior region. Field lines in the interior region of solenoid near the axis will be parallel to the axis. All these things leads to this conclusion. This is a conclusion I can arrive at. So that's the reason I can take field lines to be parallel. So this is kind of mathematical proof of what we were talking last week intuitively. So Vignesh, are you more clear now? Is this clarified?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. So it's not exactly constant, but
yes,
approximately.
Approximately. And farther we go from the end, more occupancy something. If it is long, if it goes 7r distance, it becomes 99% of that value, almost constant. So that's what we do depending on this an approximation. You get an idea of what the level of approximation is and what length we need to go inside the solenoid to get close to that approximation. So I hope some of you following this point, and this is something, is this necessary? I think you will not find this explained in any book. Because most of the time you just ignore that fact, okay, interior region, it is uniform. So, but some of you are having doubts, so that's why I've taken extra time to explain this one. Is it necessary? No, not necessary. But if you understand, it gives you better clarity. And somewhere it might be useful. So, Nitya, is that properly understood?
Yes, sir.
So, have you understood the logic why I can take field lines to be parallel to the axis? Because that's what we use later on. And we develop this understanding and then use it later on. The fixed field lines in the interior region. I hope all of you understood what does the interior region mean. Interior region, the solenoid near the axis, parallel to axis, and field on axis of solenoid is equal to mu naught n. What is the field on the endpoints? What is the field at this point? How do you calculate field at this point for a long solenoid? One of the angle becomes 0. And if it is long solenoid, one of the sine alpha evaluates to 0, other time evaluates to 1. Hence, at that point, it becomes mu naught ni by 2. So here it becomes equal to mu naught ni by 2. And at a distance of 3r from here, it comes equal to 0.95 mu naught ni by 2. And there all increases. Yes, Asha.
Sir, from 3r distance to the end point, will the drop be gradual or like will it be sudden?
No, it will not be linear. It will be complex shape. You know, this is a function here. So,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
from there you can evaluate. And do we need to know? Actually, not necessary most of the time. But what will happen? The field lines will flare out. The spacing between field lines will increase.
Yes, sir.
That's how the field lines will go.
The drop is very large, sir, in the last.
Yeah. And as we keep going further, can we calculate field at a point outside? That's what I'll do tomorrow. But what will happen? Can we calculate using the formula? Can we calculate field outside the solenoid? Can we calculate field outside the solenoid on the axis?
So it's like sine alpha minus sine beta.
Yeah,
Right, sir?
same thing what we done. Exactly same thing. That's why, see, last time I put a formula from somewhere, but I think this is much better. We use the same convention what we have got, line current element. We can calculate. Okay, I think we have almost time. So I'll stop here. And anybody has doubts, you can wait for a few minutes and try and clarify. Rest of you, I think I'll end the session here.
Thank you, sir.